It's time someone told you. Your moto vlogs suck. Welcome back to the channel, fat boys. So we're going to be going over on why your moto vlogs suck and why your motorcycle content in general actually really sucks. I'm going to be going over 4 key factors in how to up your level in your moto vlogging content and all of your motorcycle content. And I'm also going to be recommending people at the very end on who to watch to help up your level and to help teach you the techniques that you need in order to be a better content creator. So starting us out with number 1, you don't have enough footage for your vlogs. And what do I mean by that? One of the first things you might be able to do is to get more cameras. Having one camera is enough and should be enough. You should use at whatever you have at your disposal, whether that's your phone or the GoPro that you have on your helmet, that should be enough. But if you're not able to get enough of what you're wanting to capture, you're not able to capture the things that you're really wanting and you're struggling to get more, maybe you should look at getting more cameras. That's going to allow more doors to open for you, so that way you're not having to do so many things over and over and over again. It's going to make your life a little bit easier when trying to get more footage, so that way you have more things to edit with. Another thing you can do is move them around. Find different angles, find different placements for the cameras that you have in order to get different things. Don't be afraid to go over things on multiple times to get the different angles you need or to get the different things you want. You are then also able to think of more creative angles, things that most people aren't looking at the entire time. Everyone is looking at the helmet point of view and the camera pointing back at them. Try finding more creative angles and different things. If you are enjoying the video, hi, I'm Fat Boy Bob. Here we go over everything motorcycle related, including reviews, test rides, travel, learning to ride, installs, and so much more. So if you are enjoying the video, make sure you go ahead and hit the thumbs up button down below. Make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button too. Really helps out the channel. Now, let's continue on with the tips. For number 2, your audio isn't clear enough. The old saying goes that audio is 70% of the video experience. If I ended up talking like this, but with this microphone that I'm having, I'm focusing on the audio, so that way I sound as good as possible for you guys. And the same thing goes with the mic in my helmet. I have a really good audio sounding mic inside of my helmet, and I have it placed properly, so that way I'm not getting a lot of wind noise. I have all my vents shut, so that way you can hear me nice and clearly. I'm focusing on the audio, because as good as something may look, if it doesn't sound good, people are going to be that much more turned off by it and click away. They're going to want to leave your video that much quicker. So if you're facing too much wind noise or a lot of popping and cracking, you might want to try looking at different microphones or different placements of the microphone, so that way you're able to get more focused on your voice. For example, with this microphone, if I'm all the way back here, it doesn't sound that good. But when I'm all the way up here and right on top of the microphone, it sounds super crisp and clean. Mic placement is just as important as the microphone you are using. And if all of that is too much and you don't have the money in order to buy a new microphone, that's perfectly okay. You know what else works just as well? Your cell phone. Your cell phone works just as well in doing a voiceover. Voiceovers, there's nothing wrong with them. So as you can see, this is going to be the audio from my professional microphone right here. And then this is going to be the audio directly from my phone. So you see that it does plenty fine. There's no issues with using your phone for a voiceover. And so for the last part about your audio not being clear enough, is another element to that is to not forget about music in your videos. Music allows you to hide a little bit of those more quiet spots, those breathing spots. It helps alleviate some of the big editing cuts that you may need to do. That really helps you hide those a little bit. And plus it gives something else a little bit more layers for people to actually listen to. If I just talk like this, and I take a little bit more time in between my phrases without the music, it sounds really boring. So make sure you add in the music to help alleviate those breathing parts. That way people are staying that much more engaged. And so now for number 3, your editing sucks. And editing is a very, 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 very long game to learn. It is a skill that takes a lot of time, and a lot of people are still working on it. I am still working on it, and I have been doing it for years. Editing is something that you just don't get automatically. It's something you learn over time. Learn how to do it, and you will constantly be upping your game. You will constantly be learning. Here are the key things that you need to do in order to help immediately jump up your level of production in your editing, and it's super simple. For the first one, you're not editing down enough. You're not cutting out all of the dead spaces that we were talking about in with the audio. If you are leaving in the dead spaces, you are killing your pacing of the video. You're also leaving in things that don't necessarily need to be in there. Go over your video multiple and multiple times to see what things don't really need to be in there. You need to think about the things that apply to the story and the plot of your video, and things that help keep people interested. If you're just keeping in space to add time, or just because you think it's interesting but it's really not that interesting, that's where the hard part comes in. You have to take out the things that don't add to the video experience. And the best way you can do this without having your own opinion affect the video, because you're the one who watched it and you think it's interesting, but show the video to other people before you publish it. See where they start to lose interest. Ask them where they start to lose interest, and get a feel for where you need to cut out and the things you need to cut out, so that way you're able to keep up the pacing and keep their interest peaked. Right now, people's attention is only about 8 seconds long, so if you're not constantly keeping them updated as best as you can, most of the time they're going to be clicking off. And then the last simple way to up your editing game is to simply learn basic editing techniques. And this has to do with J cuts, L cuts, and audio displacement. A lot of you may be asking, what the hell is a J cut? What the hell is an L cut? What do you mean by audio displacement? Simply put, when you make a cut in your video and audio, does not mean they have to be cut together. Your video can continue past the audio, and your audio can continue past the video. The way you've recorded your video does not have to go in to the editing process. So this can simply mean you are moving the audio from one section into the other, because when you're motovlogging, you're not showing your face, you're not talking, they don't see your mouth moving. So it's easier to move the audio sections around in order to help keep up the pacing and keep people entertained, while still having the story and plot line of you talking continue on, and it's not a constant cut. And for number 4, and the most important thing that is killing your motovlogs, is you do not have a story or a plot direction. Well, how do you fix this? It's actually pretty simple. You have to have an idea. That's it. You need to have a plan, write it down, and know what you're going to say. Whenever you're going out and doing motovlogs and just capturing whatever and hoping you get something, that's a shot in the dark. You have no idea what you're gonna get, and you can have a video that just does absolutely nothing except you talking about nothing. Have a general idea of what you're wanting to talk about with the video you're creating, and then that makes it that much easier to build your video around what you're doing, instead of going through hours and hours and hours of footage to try making something out of nothing. Instead, you have something that you're just cutting away to build something even better. The next way to do this is to actually be doing some basic story planning. Have an idea, write down everything you're going to be talking about, and know how you're going to be doing this. If your video is over the course of multiple days or over multiple things, make sure you write down everything you're wanting to cover or talk about or do, so you can see the storyline, and then that way when you're editing, you can refer back to it and you can edit down to it, and you know where everything goes. You're not having to figure out where everything is going. But with all of that being said, you still have to be able to take what is thrown at you and run with it. An example I can do is my Daytona Beach Bike Week trip. I had an entire event list planned out for all of that, but all I ended up doing was, with the rainstorms changing all of my itinerary, I ended up changing the plot line so that way it told the tragic events that ended up happening because of the drastic change in weather that wasn't supposed to be there. And now for my recommendations for all of you to be able to watch and learn different editing techniques so you're able to up your game. I'm going to be linking them down below so you're able to find them, but I'm also going to be talking about them right here. For number one, I want to be talking about Premiere Gal. She uses the Adobe suites and she goes over everything and across a lot of the Adobe suites and how to actually use them. And she helps you up your techniques and what you're able to do. She teaches you different things and the basics of all of the Adobe editing suites. So that has to do with Premiere Pro, After Effects, and Photoshop, what a lot of you people would be using in your editing techniques. The next one is Daniel Schiffer. He is also amazing. He does pretty much the same thing, but he does everything over in Final Cut Pro. So all of you Mac users, to where if you are using Final Cut Pro, highly recommend him. He also does everything that pretty much Premiere Gal does, but he does it with a little bit more of a modern twist. Next is Film Booth. He is a little bit more of a content creator specific person. He goes over editing techniques and actually YouTube strategies in order to help you become a better YouTuber itself. The next one is Premiere Basics. They go over all of the basics of Premiere. They go over what does each button do, how does it work, and how to actually use them. And then the last channel I'm recommending to watch is called Think Media. They teach you everything having to do with YouTube and actually how to become a true content creator and how to monetize and everything to do with YouTube. And they also do teach you some camera tricks, some audio tricks, and everything to do with the production side. So if you enjoyed this video, guys, make sure you go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It is greatly appreciated. If you're new here, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell notification down below. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.